Hello, dear listener. I'm your host, Tyke, and today my guest is a former business owner, now leading Web3 innovation in commercial real estate. Sonia, tell me who you are and what you do.
Hi, good day. Hi, how are you? Pleasant and pleasures and honor to be here. My name is Sonia Shaw. Currently, I'm leading a RWA tokenization project called OneAsset. Previously, I think I was most known as CoinW's global president for 3 years. And so I left CoinW at the end of last year and started my own venture. So I'm here.
Okay. But you definitely did a lot more before entering this whole crypto thing, didn't you?
Yes, I mean, if you talk about the overall professional experience and of course, like that extend to non-crypto. So previously, before I'm based in Dubai now. Previously, I was in Australia, based in Sydney. I was mostly in a lot of different kind of business and then running my own recruitment agency, focused on financial service, and also did a lot of property funds in Australia as well. So I understand commercial real estate investment funds, and of course running my own business and did like fundraisings and then advisory jobs, and it's quite a lot of things before I joined crypto. So that was, I think, 2022, early 2022, the end of 2021. That's when I got this opportunity at CoinW to come and to lead their global team in Dubai. So that's how I got into the industry.
What was the connecting thread between recruiting and real estate funds?
Yeah, I mean, that's interesting to know. Like my recruitment agency was focused on financial service only. So most of my clients are banks, investment funds. And then also being a Chinese background, moved to Australia, I also have the Chinese network. And then I think I was quite lucky. I was in that era of a lot of Chinese money moving overseas. And then so there are quite a lot of demand in that field. And then a lot of high net worth investors will come approach me and say, how do I invest my money in Australia? And then so that's how I got into the fundraising for some of the fund managers in there. And then of course, and then from there, I was myself involved in the investment and then put my money in there. So I understand the whole structure of fund management but mostly the front side of it. But, having your own skin in the game, of course, you got to understand the logic of the investment, the returns, the risks and everything.
Well, that makes sense.
Yeah. I mean, business is business, like it's all somehow related.
I see the connection now. But where does your interest towards finance come from? Because it's one thing to do personal finances, it's one thing just to be interested in investments, but it's a completely different story when it comes down to funds and stuff like this.
Yeah, I mean, that's a very good question. I mean, I went to Australia to study. I did my master's degree at Sydney Uni and I studied finance and accounting. But unfortunately, when I graduated, that was the GFC. I don't know if you recall, like 2008. So I graduated 2009. So there was a global financial crisis. All the bank, like Lehman crashed and then all the banks start laying off people and then there's no new hires. So that was the time I was, my plan was, whole plan was getting into funds or, investment bank. But unfortunately, with the bad timing of the history. So I got the dots all connected now.
Yeah. Best time to be in finance in 2008, huh? Graduating from finance, especially.
Yeah, I mean, it was fortunate, but unfortunate somehow it's just the wrong timing. If you graduate that time, yeah.
Okay. So, graduated from finance, started your recruiting business for finance companies, started going into funds, managing Chinese money overseas. And what happened next? Why crypto?
Another crisis hit. That's what they say. Every crisis is a big opportunity. So I had to shut down my business because of COVID. So during COVID time, like, of course, all the companies stopped recruiting, right? And so all the hiring pipe stopped and everything. So I shut down my business due to COVID, and then so I had almost 2-year rest. And then it was unfortunate that business had to wind up like that, but it's fortunate in a way that I got a chance to really stop everything else doing and then had a clear mind to think what I want to do next. I didn't really want to go back doing the same thing again. Then I got this opportunity, got into crypto. Yeah.
So you zoomed out and then an opportunity in crypto presented itself. How did that happen?
I guess when you're in business, that's a good thing about doing your own business. Like you come across different sort of network and people, and then the owner of the crypto business was my previous business partner in Australia. And then so we've known each other for quite a long time, like more than 10 years. So when he reached out to me and then like when he knew that I was, trying to figure out what I wanted to do, and then he was like, okay, I know you can do this. Why don't you come and help me to grow the global business, expand it globally? And we're actually doing really well. And then it wasn't really that hard for me to transition quickly, like having the experience for so many years running my business. A key skill that you always build is problem solving, like, because there's no one else to ask for help. You're the only one that solves the eternal problem.
So that was CoinW.
Yes.
What would you mark as your top achievement with CoinW until you shifted to this new project?
I think, I've pretty much fulfilled what I wanted to do in there for the company. Like for 3 years, I was given the key task of bringing CoinW to global exposure. So we managed to build a whole global team expansion across all different business units, and then expand like from almost no one even knows, and then come to a second tier, top of the second tier exchange globally. So, and then so it was quite a fun journey in a way.
Nice. How did you come to OneAsset?
Well, it took a long time. I left CoinW not really knowing what I wanted to do, but I did know one thing. I want a next challenge. I wanted to do something different. I want to do something myself, on my own. I just can't change that part of me that everywhere I work, I take ownership. Like I take it as mine. And then you put so much effort and so much of emotion in it. But again, it's like you want it to be your own baby. So I left because I wanted to do something different. And I was doing a lot of consulting work here and there for exchanges or for projects. And then when I've always had this belief that RWA is actually the next big thing that's going to bring our industry to the next level. Even back in 2022, 2023, I remember when I was doing Twitter space and podcasts with different, industry experts. And then when they asked me what narrative you have true belief in, I'd always put RWA as, my top one. Back then, people not even talking about it yet. Like they just don't really, they don't think it's Web3 enough when it comes to RWA. It's too traditional business and traditional finance mindset in a way. But I believe that that's the whole reason behind it, because it's the traditional finance. It has enough liquidity in there. So it took a bit of time to come to the right concept, and of course come with, the right investors behind that share the same vision. And then so slowly form this whole concept of OneAsset, that we tokenize commercial real estate investments on chain and make it accessible to everyone globally.
I always found it funny how Web3 degens speak about Web2 stuff coming on chain while they live IRL. And you can't just ignore the fact that IRL is going to move on chain.
Yeah.
Talking about OneAsset, can you tell me what's the problem it solves?
Well, there are actually quite a few. First of all, when we talk about the way that the new generation living, not only just, on the daily basis, social media, entertainment, the next big thing that we need to adopt to the new generation's living, it's reinvestment habit as well. Like you cannot think of the next generation of the young people when they start investing, they'll be like our parents going to the bank and buy a, insurance policy or what, or it's just too it doesn't fit their style. So that's fundamentally. And then another thing, of course, like we understand when it comes to investment, there's a lot of restrictions. The border restriction, asset class accessibility. That's the biggest problem. Like you see Ando actually tokenize the T-bonds and then make T-bonds accessible to retail investors. Like that's amazing. That's game changing. And then when it comes to other asset class, I think the only thing that is quite accessible for people is global shares. But that also has a lot of restrictions when it comes to share investment. So in all these things that the limitations, it's a problem we need to solve, right? And then the accessibility, the cross-border payments problems, transparency. So real estate particularly facing all these problems because real estate is very, very geography focused, right? Like country, region, jurisdiction focused. And then it's almost impossible for a person in another country without going through any sort of like trouble, paperwork, banking restrictions and everything, and to invest real estate in another country. And then not to mention credit as well. Like if you want to invest in another country, how are you gonna, show your credit history and able to have the finance option as well. So there's a lot of fundamental problem in this asset class. But this asset class is actually the biggest by market cap globally. That bigger than equity, bigger than money markets. But we are focusing on commercial real estate, not residential. And then the reason for that is when we talk about commercial, like people don't really realize it's also a problem in there, like accessibility problem. When you're a retail user, you can only invest through a real estate investment fund that is publicly listed as well. You are not able to directly invest in a commercial real estate by yourself as a retail investor when you don't have certain amount of money. But commercial real estate has its merits compared to residential in many, especially in different markets, and then stable yields and then good asset appreciation as well, and then very stable. So all these, characteristic of a good investment asset not really being captured by retail investors. So this is another problem, of course, like how we can get this sort of premium investment opportunity to everyone around the world using blockchain technology, using the structure. And then, of course, the last one, what we are doing as building the RWA projects, we are bringing liquidity to the industry. So we have seen the industry from the last bull run, even the last two bull runs, there are a lot of new concepts coming out, infrastructure technology has been progressed so much, but there are a lot of projects still pretty much on the concept stage only, and it's very hard to capture the people not inside the industry to really buy in, to understand, because this is highly risky and it's very, very hard to really, it's not safe. A lot of people won't put big money in there, especially if you're not in the industry. Why? Because there's nothing for them to trust enough to come in. So this industry need to go mainstream. And then we need to build something that allow this money to come in and make sure those money come in that they trust us, and then they also feel safe and they have good return in here. So there's a huge industry problem that we also need to solve in here.
Makes so much sense now that I think about it. And like commercial real estate really seems like a better investment if you compare it to, if you have the opportunity to invest as a...
By Blackstone is Blackstone, right? Like, yeah. They own, you will never see they go and buy a residential, luxury house or anything, but they only invest in, office buildings, hotels, and, commercial stuff, because commercial is a proper global standardized investment asset class.
Yeah. Okay. What are you trying to achieve with this?
Well, I think the problem we're trying to solve is that something we want to achieve, of course. Like we're trying to build the solution that allow asset owners, developers, anyone who wants to bring their asset on chain can utilize this platform, this product we have. But the product itself is technology, but more importantly is the structure, legal structure and regulatory allowance as well. So our next milestone is to secure the Dubai digital currencies approval with VARA to allow us issue the asset-backed token to retail users. And then that will give us a strong backing from the regulatory side. So yeah, that's going to be the big milestone. Yeah.
And who would you need to connect with to do that?
Well, we're in the process. I mean, the good thing about Dubai and VARA is they're very, very transparent. All the information is out there. And then they're also very supportive when it comes to innovative projects and everything. So I don't think we need to connect with anyone. We just need to do what needs to be done.
Okay. But you're still waiting for the approval license, but that doesn't mean that you're not open to connect with potential partners as well, right? Who would those?
Oh yeah,
be?
we're definitely open to partners and I think there are two ends from the business. Like one end is like asset owners, like if you own commercial real estate that you want to tokenize them, bring them on chain, distribute them through our platform, then yes, that you can, those when we talk about fund managers who own the asset portfolios, property developers, and then also high net worth family office who own the assets. And another end is on the distribution side, community owners or, crypto wallets or centralized exchange that who actually has a lot of idle money in their accounts, and then they want their users to move those money around, invest somewhere. Then we can talk and collaborate with them to build a proper product and allow their users to invest through their portal as well. So that's on the distribution side. Would be highly beneficial for us to connect with them to understand from the product building perspective what would be good for them as well.
Good. The project is really interesting. I wish you all the best.
Thank you. Did you see that Donald Trump also looking to tokenize all his commercial portfolio?
Really? Didn't know that.
Yeah. So Trump is in property and then he has a lot of Trump Tower and everything. They already did one. They actually just did a project financing tokenization for Maldives hotel that they're building, holiday resort. But they were talking about all this portfolio they have. They're going to bring them on chain. But the problem is like there's no platform that actually built for that in terms of regulatory framework allowed, and also distribution side, everything. So that's what we're doing. Like once we get this all up and running, I think all these asset owners who wants to tokenize their portfolio, like we're the solution for them. So it's a trend.
Well, the sooner you get the license, the better.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, that's the thing that we have to be patient though. Like we need to make sure we do everything properly, build the foundation properly. Yeah.
Yeah, that's the most important. Good. You've tried different things. You had your own business. You tried funds. You grew a crypto exchange, and now you're building a platform for commercial real estate tokenization. What did you learn? The one thing that you've learned throughout the whole journey, what was it?
The people. Choose the right people to work with. A lot of things you can't really predict, like when you do things like, things can always happen, but when the people is right, problem can be easily solved. When people not right, fortunately stuff can become a problem. So I think focus on choosing the right people first, and everything else will just work it out itself.
That's a brilliant one. Thank you.
that's come from my experience. I've had a lot of bad lessons that dealing with the wrong people. So now I focus a lot on the people that I work with. Yes.
Very, very important to do. Thank you, Sonia. Thank you for your time. Thank you for the experience shared.
It's a pleasure.
Same.
Absolutely a pleasure. Thanks.
Leave any questions for Sonia below. I'll leave a link to find her in the description, and I'll see you in the next episode.